does it take to get into BuzzFeed's top 10 best on-screen orgasms of 2021?
You may open your books.
Introducing a new prep course from the Princeton Review for the woke modern-day filmmaker. The Princeton Review can help you prepare for your CLITs.
Kids, they want to see people touching each other with their feet. They want to see nipples. They want to see mouths on my nipples. They want to see mouths on my nipples after I fuck up the football game. I love you, Dad.
What does it take to pass or fail?
Anytime you acknowledge that the clit exists, you pass the test. Duh. I need like Adderall or something.
Knowing where it is optional. But in an optional essay on the SAT kind of way. Some of us are actually trying to learn.
Fucking kill you if you tell anyone what I've done.
You want to really know what you're doing with it. You want to see it, you want to visualize it. And that's really how I get into character. Is I think, if I were a clit, what would I do? What would I want? And that's basically my objective every day on set.
Seems easy enough, but there are trick questions.
I've been in this business for over a decade, and my films feature diverse women. Strawberry blonde, dirty blonde, platinum blonde, you name it. To my surprise, I hadn't acknowledged the clitoris in any of the 24 and counting films. Imagine that. Our new film, Atomic Blonde, features a woman sexualized as the main character instead of the side character, and that is feminism.
Rotten Tomatoes. Who cares? Better representation of better sex equals better Twitter response, which is like basically an Oscar in our books.
If you ask me, you don't need any of this shit. All right, just throw in some hot boobs and the nerds will eat it right up. I don't know, I feel going to the brothel every episode feels pretty girl boss.
I've studied the clit for 20 years. I know clits back and forth, sideways, underneath, the hood. Can I cuss? Okay, fucking Netflix. After 3 seasons, they got Twitter cancellations, BuzzFeed think pieces. They finally passed. Now what?
Pencils down, please. Pencils down.
Congratulations! You've officially reached the bar, which is actually short for the bare minimum. Now you can try to surpass it by having women characters who pass the Bechdel test.
I should have my own show, but...
Personally, we've been on for 10 years. I think we're doing fine with the incest titty stuff. See you at Comic-Con.
Fuck the system. Get the clits.
Speaking of, our new prep course, the Bechdel test.
I think we sold it.
What are you, single? You want to go on a date? We can talk about this more.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Sex Scene, a show where we examine sex in TV and film and how it affects our real sex lives. As you all may know, I'm Daryl.
I'm Ariel. It is so great to be back with this show. We have been resting because it has been a shit show out there, and we hope you all have been too, but we are so glad to be back with this bonus episode where we are going to myth bust with some of the best sexperts in the game. This episode is different because we have not 1, not 2, but 3 amazing guests with us. You are going to meet them in just a minute. We have Dalia Perez, who is a somatic sex and relationship coach. We have Acacia, who is an amazing intimacy coordinator. And of course, Zolee Griggs, who is a phenomenal actress, known a lot for her work in the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yes, definitely. And if you tune in long enough, you will see who is going to win a breast plushie in partnership with the Nerd Bugs. We are going to be giving away a breast plush to whoever participated in our giveaway on Instagram. So tune in till the very end to see who gets one of their own.
I mean, the breast is yet to come. You know what I'm saying? You know? Okay. Yeah, we can stop now. I'll just
Could have kept that, but it's fine.
We're gonna roll the interview. Let's roll the interview.
I burn for you. Do you want to spend the night?
It's not how long it takes, it's who's taking you.
Yeah.
We are all sluts. You're a slut. Your cameraman's a slut. Your
PA is a slut, and your mic's a slut.
All right, welcome to the sex scene. Thank you all for being here. As you can tell, we have an amazing panel with us today.
We would love for you guys to just reintroduce yourselves to the audience. Tell them your name, where you're from, and what you do.
So I'm Dalia, Dalia Perez. Pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm an intimacy and relationship coach. I have a private practice in Washington, D.C., but I see clients all over the country virtually and talk about all things sexuality, intimacy, relationship related.
Hi, I'm Zolee Griggs. My pronouns are she, her. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I'm an actress. So sometimes I'm in those intimate scenes.
Hi, my name is Acacia. I use they, them, or they, their pronouns, and I'm an intimacy coordinator, which means I work on sex scenes in films. I choreograph and communicate and work on boundaries and consent with actors. And I also do script consultations, etc. I'm based in Ann Arbor, but I mostly work in New York City. So
we've really got people from all over the place on this call. Our very first segment of this interview roundtable, etc. thing, which is a game of myth busting. So our show, The Sex Scene, is actually not all that sexy, despite the fact that we get censored on YouTube so much. Sorry, it's really meant to demystify sex scenes in TV and film. We thought we'd ask you, our sexperts, to help us with some myth busting. So we're going to reference a popular belief about sex and relationships, and you are going to tell us whether it's true or not. And since this is the sex scene, then examples will be from famous or infamous TV shows and films. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
This one is for you, Acacia.
Mine?
Yes, you. Who else would it be?
But we never...
Last month. Hot tub?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
Think of the male. Think of the male. Think of
Oh. But we were wearing our swimsuits.
As Jude said, a hot tub is the perfect temperature for sperm. It helps it swim faster.
All right. So the popular belief is that if a guy nuts in a hot tub, you can get pregnant from it. True or false?
False.
And why? Because Glee says that it's true.
Yeah, Glee said it makes it look very realistic. I don't understand.
you need to have a lot more intimate contact than that. You're not going to get pregnant sitting in a hot tub.
But this is still a very popular belief. People still hold on to this one and reference that clip often instead of sex ed.
Let me tell you how bad sex education is in our country.
So this next one is from the movie Girls Trip, where Tiffany Haddish explains a sex tip. And we just want to know, is this real?
Y'all ain't never grapefruited before?
No. But I'm listening.
What you want to do is you get a grapefruit, right? Okay. And you cut both ends off, as so. Then you cut a hole in the middle, like this. Make a nice little tunnel. And then you place that on his penis, like this.
Oh.
Okay? Like that.
Oh.
Right? Now you want to squeeze and twist and suck, so then it feels like he's getting fucked and sucked all at the same time. It's like this. Choke just a little bit, because that makes him feel like a man, like he's killing your shit. Dude, this is a tickle in my throat. Now, you never ever want to do this with a pineapple. I almost died.
Ooh, the grapefruit trick.
I commend her for that scene, just real quick.
So the question is if this is a real trick that you can use.
Yeah.
You know, if you're creative and you like to use fruits, you're welcome to do that, as long as, you know, the man also wants a grapefruit on his cock, you know.
It's like a very democratic response, because here's what ends up happening with the grapefruit trick.
What's she do? Bite it up? I got grapefruit juice in this pee hole and I need a first aid kit.
Lisa! It burns!
Oh my god, I think I left it in my bag.
It's on fire!
All I have is eye wash.
Oh my god! It's on fire, Lisa!
I got some aloe. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It was my first time.
You were a nurse! You said you were a nurse!
I'm gonna trust you.
Oh my god! What happened to a normal blowjob?
Ooh, that's that Shaka Zulu right there.
So we're gonna talk, you know, I think that takes it to the piece around consent. Like, does he really want the grapefruit juice and entering his, you know, penis hole? Probably not.
Fair question.
Okay.
Fair question.
I think we should move on to the next, the next popular belief. This one is for you, Zolee. It's happened in 8 Mile with Eminem and Brittany Murphy. It's happened with Allie in The Notebook. The popular belief, according to TV shows and films, is that it only takes women less than 2 minutes to orgasm.
You're so good outside.
True or false?
Less than, I think it can be true if you know what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like
yes.
If does foreplay count? Is that in the 2 minutes? Because if that doesn't count, then
Not according to TV and film.
yeah, see, if you just go right to it, that's probably not going to happen. But if you allude and take your time into it, then yeah, it's totally possible. Yeah, I would say in television and film, it's all about the man, you know, and they don't ever have to warm up. They can just rocket, socket, and go.
Right.
We like to warm up, you know. So yeah, I think it can be true. But is that the reality for most women out here? Probably not.
I think that's a great answer.
Yeah.
And I feel like it also just depends, you know what I mean? Like some nights you might want a quickie, other nights
exactly
might take a little longer.
It also just comes down to, you know, these expectations that we put on people who aren't, you know, cis men, essentially this idea that, you know, if you aren't experiencing or performing pleasure that quickly, then there's something wrong with you.
Exactly.
It also puts a lot of emphasis on orgasm when sex is the journey, you know? So
say that again.
It's, you know, you can take your time or have a quickie either way, but it's about more than the end.
Right.
Do you feel like sex scenes portray that, or do you feel like it's mostly seeing the orgasm? Like,
I think they like to show the beginning and the end, and they like to skip the middle.
But that's the best part.
It is the best part. And it's also like the most interesting to watch.
I would argue that the beginning and the end can be the best part. Only because, you know, I love
ideally you're enjoying the whole thing, you know?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Ideally we're not having to like rate and rate our sexual section, you know, experience, but it's like we're just enjoying the experience for what it was, rather than like, oh, this was my peak experience. And I was like, it was all right, you know. It's just like, can we just enjoy the moment for what it is?
There's actually this Netflix Polish show called Sexify, where this girl creates a app to essentially teach her fellow peers how to orgasm. And what they do is like they have people having sex in this room and then rating their experience right afterwards.
And how quickly that gets people into their heads and like into a worrying state of like, did I do good? Was it great enough? Was it good enough? Was it good for them? Was it good for me? I don't, you know, instead of just being in the pleasure of our bodies. And
also meeting people where they're at, you know, people who have trauma or who have chronic illness, disabilities, etc. Sex isn't always as pleasurable as, you know, the ideal might be, but that doesn't mean it's not good and it's not enjoyable and worth it.
I think this leads us to our last myth busting question, which is, and this is taken from Courtney and Kim Take Miami. However, I feel like I'm somebody who's heard this since I was like, who knows?
I was going to say, what age have you been hearing
probably
this?
in the back of a high school classroom somewhere, you know?
Right.
But the popular belief is, and this is for the group, eating pineapple makes the pussy taste better. Courtney and Kim Take Miami in particular, they did a smell off, and Kim won because she was eating pineapple juice. Let's show them the clip.
I am gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna wipe your little with that to get real funky, have a party like you've never seen. And what, I'm gonna do the sniff test? Then Kim has to do this next. Pineapple souffle. It smells like a tropical island. It smells like Hawaii. I'm not smelling Kanye's. Is that not the best smelling? Ooh! Smells like a flower. But mine smells more like sour. That is a flower. Honestly, I will say that Kim's smells the best. She's the kitty winner.
Okay, a deeply awkward thing to do as sisters, but hey, we are where we are. Is this a real thing? Like the idea that what we're eating can influence the way we smell and the way we taste? Because there's
pineapple
specifically. Yes.
I don't think that works. That's what I'm just gonna say. I don't think it works that way, but I will let Dalia take it.
I don't know about pineapple per se and the like impact it has on. Was that like our vulva juices or our urine? But either
God, I hope they weren't sniffing their urine. Maybe they were.
Yeah. But I mean, there is truth that like what we eat and what, you know, our body, what we ingest does impact our body. And so I would think that there's some truth to it, but I don't know how potent pineapple is and how like specifically like fragrant you're gonna be or not.
If it's really changing a lot, you should probably go to the doctor and check it out.
Yes.
Agreed. I think it's misinformation because not only did the Kardashians, you know, have that little segment, but I remember Kevin Hart has a whole like, I think comedic special where he talks about it, or just, I don't know, it was kind of like a viral topic a couple years ago, like eating pineapple. And so I think the problem is that like, people who were on the receiving end of a vagina were expecting it to taste like pineapple and smell like pineapple. And it's like, that's not going to happen. It's still vagina. So it's going to smell and taste like one.
Now, if you're really craving that tropical flavor, you can get lube in that flavor. If you want pineapple lube, I'm sure it exists.
That is better advice than I got in high school. I was told to take a little pineapple juice, take a little honey and water and like mix it up and then put it directly on the vagina. Before I didn't try it, unfortunately.
Thank God.
However, that's what I was always told. So hey, the lube sounds like a better alternative.
The lube's gonna make it taste good as well as feel better. So.
Right. I was gonna say, like, I feel like I'd be afraid of like smelling like a flower bomb down there. Like, wouldn't you be like, oh God, something's wrong? But clearly, like, based on this mythbusting, there are a lot of popular beliefs that we've digested throughout our time as young people and, you know, as adults, consuming these narratives on TV and film and on reality TV where, you know, essentially we're taking in a lot of misinformation. And because of the lack of sex education that a lot of us receive, it's kind of hard to know what's real and what's not. So we wanted to ask y'all, because this is part of the reason that we started this show, what are some things about sex that you consumed from television and film, maybe growing up in the world and where you are now, that have kind of influenced or shaped your ideas of sex?
for me, as I think about this question, it's been a lot around like the unrealistic expectation that sex and intimacy just is like, it just like happens so quickly and it's all perfect and they, you know, you just know each other's turn-ons and it's just like, and it's just so far from like reality actually. You know, there's so much of needing to so a lot of times like learn each other's pleasures and what turns each other on and like know how to communicate about it, and that our partner doesn't know exactly everything that we want.
What about you, Acacia? Does anything jump out at you? I mean, you've been a part of choreographing a lot of these scenes, so you probably have a particularly good eye for this stuff.
Actually, I was thinking about this question a lot, and to me, there was a lack of sex scenes growing up. You know, I could see someone's brains bashed in before I ever saw like actual intimacy on screen. And I think that can be really damaging. Like I, you know, started learning about sex when I was like a preteen. And like between sex ed and TV and movies, I didn't understand that sex involved movement at all. Like, and I think that's a problem. I think showing intimacy is really important. And so I'm really looking forward to, as we bring more intimacy coordinators onto set, seeing scenes which are much more realistic in the first place.
I agree with Acacia, because growing up, it seemed like the intimacy scenes that you would see in the movies were pretty just raunchy and quick and fast, you know? The man is this big hunk, he knows exactly what he's doing, he's getting right to it, boom, bam, boom, and then that's it, you know? And so I think growing up, that's what you expect is like, cool, men know what they're doing. They've done this a bunch of times. They're actually perfect at this. And so, you know, as a teenage girl and you're like talking with your friends and everything and you're sharing your sexual experiences, that's not the reality. It's like, no, we both didn't know what to do. We're like, you know, he told me later on that he was actually a virgin and he had never had any sexual experiences. And so I feel like movies and television kind of put that stress on men and women that like, so I think that was the misconception, is that like just watching TV doesn't equate to you actually having experience when it comes down to you and your partner.
All that comes to mind is J. Cole, Wet Dreams. That's all.
What an interesting song.
Wow. Hadn't been in pussy since the day I came out.
Wow. My experience differs because I think I did see a lot of sex growing up, you know, on TV or whether it was in music videos. And I feel like that made me want to be more sexual because of it, yet there was still a shame that came with it at the same time. And that's why I think that, you know, now that they are incorporating intimacy coordinators, we're starting to see more authentic like sex scenes, like the awkward and the passionate.
Just that something else that I didn't see a lot growing up was consent. And even further than that, there's a lot of violation of consent quite consistently in film and TV. Particularly something that comes to mind is the kiss of silence, where a woman is talking and a man will kiss her in order to make her stop talking. It's not very consensual, it's not very sexy, and it demeans women as, you know, just misogynistic in general. Growing up, it actually, I think, was very pervasive in our culture. I remember when I had my first kiss, it was actually super consensual and the guy asked me before. And I came back to my friends after and I was like, I had this great first kiss, it was so wonderful. He was like, can I kiss you? And I was like, yes. And they all made fun of me. They said it wasn't romantic or sexy because he asked me if he could kiss me. And I just think that's really a shame. And I think that's something that we'll hopefully be seeing a lot more on screen as well.
Yeah, it's only starting to show up in newer stuff. The act of somebody asking to kiss someone, which is very, very exciting. Is there anything else that sticks out to y'all? Like, God, I'm tired of seeing this on screen. Like, this is not it.
The Under the Sheets is a huge one for me. It bugs me to no end. I think it's just sloppy filmmaking. It's because they don't have an intimacy coordinator to say, this is how we can do the scene safely with implied nudity while still making sure the actors are comfortable.
I think one of the things that really still bugs the heck out of me is the like exaggerated screaming that they have female actresses do around feeling pleasure or orgasming. It drives me nuts because I feel like it's just so far from reality, and it makes women assume that they have to be like screaming, and men assume that their partners need to be screaming in order for it to be going well. And it's just like,
yeah, for sure.
I'd say my job on set 90% of the time with sound is to say to pull it back and bring it back to the breath, and not so much an auditory, like more, feeling the moment.
Right. We need, we definitely need more intimacy coordinators.
Zolee, do you have anything that really drives you up the wall that you see in TV and film, or that you've been asked to show in TV and film and be like, that's just so unrealistic?
I think Dalia brought up a great point about the excessive moaning. I can't stand it either because it's just annoying and unnecessary. And I mean, hey, maybe for some women that is accurate, but like, it's excessive and annoying. I remember for me doing my first intimate scene, it was extremely awkward because we had just met as people and as actors, and we're supposed to have like this strong connection. And so thankfully I did have an intimacy coordinator on set, and we were able to discuss things beforehand. But I think it was still awkward because we've got a full production going on. And I remember specifically starting the scene and we're, going through the motions, and the director was like, what is this? No sound? You guys aren't making any sound? And maybe it was like the awkwardness of, having to do these movements. But I also was like, well, maybe we don't have any sound, like it doesn't have to be this exaggerated wild thing. And so I think because of my own personal nerves from that point on, I was cognizant of like, okay, am I loud enough? And then are my facial expressions? And so then I felt like, even though I am performing, I felt like I had to do that much more. And like I said, because there was an intimacy coordinator on set, I was really appreciative because I had never done a scene like that. And speaking with some of the well-seasoned actors and actresses on set, they were saying like back in my day, there was no intimacy coordinator. It would just be two actors and you'd say, go, just go, And she's like, there were a bunch of issues or things that came up that, we never got to discuss. Even simple things as hygiene, like making sure you both have breath mints if you're that close to each other's face, and making sure the other person is bathed that day,
all fair
not
things.
Not that day.
All fair things for a regular sexual encounter too. Like that's all fair expectations.
So I am appreciative that now when I go on to sets, I can expect an intimacy coordinator, or I can even request one, if they're not as on it as I'd like.
So basically, hashtag team intimacy coordinators.
Always. That's basically the underline of this whole show is team intimacy coordinators, basically.
I agree.
Yes. Yes. So thank you guys again so much for joining us. Before we let you go, we'd love for you all to plug anything that you might want to promote or have our audience be aware of.
Can we start with you, Acacia? How can the people find you?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's Acacia, ACACIA.gay. And I have an Instagram, which I'm quite active on. I come out with content about intimacy coordinating, how to be safe on set, about consent, intersectionality, what I keep in my kit, etc. And that's at Intimacy Coordinating, and my email is the same. And a plug, I just got off set from a movie I'm really excited about. We're hoping to come out sometime next year. It's called Perfectly Good Moment. You can also find that on Instagram. And yeah, just reach out if you ever need an intimacy coordinator. And I can connect you either with one in your local area, or I'm obviously taking on new projects.
Dalia, what about you?
Yeah, so as I said, I work with individuals and couples in a private practice. I also teach workshops and training. So you can read more about my work at Dalia-Perez.com. I'm not so great on the Instagram and stuff.
Find her on the website, y'all. Find her website.
Right.
I've got 2 kids. I don't have time for all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, your name as a website is enough.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Zolee, what about you?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at ZOLEEG, Zolee G, and Wu-Tang season 2 comes out September 8th, and I just wrapped up a movie called The Enforcer that should come out in 2022. So keep your eyes peeled, guys, and yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. It was a great time.
Yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Again, the whole thing is demystifying sex scenes, and y'all are incredible sexperts to have on the show, so thank you for
Y'all help
being
us
here.
bust a lot of myths.
Yeah, we clearly don't know shit. That's the takeaway.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks y'all so much.
Thank you.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back.
We hope you guys enjoyed that discussion. But before we start, Ariel, I think you have a nip slip.
Okay, don't body shame me, first of all, because you have a nip slip too.
Free the nipple, baby.
Instagram is going to completely ban us for this. We don't care. That's why we're on YouTube. And we wanted to announce the winner of this amazing Nerd Bugs plushie giveaway. So the winner of our Valentine's giveaway is
Skylar Fred.
Yes, Skylar, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. We have seen you in the comments and watching all our live shows, and we can't tell you how much it means to us. And thank you to all of you who have been watching our shows. Seriously, this is the reason that we do it. It's because of you all. So thank you.
No, if you didn't win one of your own, fear not. You can get your own at the link below. We want to thank Nerdbugs again for partnering with us for this giveaway. They have more than just breasts. They have, oh, you guys have met Cuterus the Uterus. Cuterus the Uterus. They have a kidney. They have a lot of different plushies that help promote body positivity and empowerment. So check them out at the link below.
Thank you to everybody who's contributed to making this show possible. Thank you to our producers. Thank you to our team, our writers, our editors. We cannot do this without you. So thank you so much. Guys, get yourself a breast plushie. It's the best time. It really is.
Thank you for tuning in to our bonus episode, and we'll see you next time on The Sex Scene.
Bye. I love you, Daryl. Yours is upside down. It's freaky.
For you. Do you want to spend the night?
It's not how long it takes, it's who's taking you.
Yeah.
We are all sluts. You're a slut. Your cameraman's a slut. Your PA's a slut. And your mic's a slut.
What does it take to get into BuzzFeed's top 10 best on-screen orgasms of 2021?
You may open your books.
Introducing a new prep course from the Princeton Review for the woke modern-day filmmaker. The Princeton Review can help you prepare for your CLITs.
Kids, they want to see people touching each other with their feet. They want to see nipples. They want to see mouths on my nipples. They want to see mouths on my nipples after I fuck up the football game. I love you, Dad.
What does it take to pass or fail?
Anytime you acknowledge that the clit exists, you pass the test. Duh. I need like Adderall or something.
Knowing where it is optional. But in an optional essay on the SAT kind of way. Some of us are actually trying to learn
fucking kill you if you tell anyone what I've done.
You want to really know what you're doing with it. You want to see it, you want to visualize it. And that's really how I get into character. Is I think, if I were a clit, what would I do? What would I want? And that's basically my objective every day on set.
Seems easy enough, but there are trick questions.
I've been in this business for over a decade, and my films feature diverse women. Strawberry blonde, dirty blonde, platinum blonde, you name it. To my surprise, I hadn't acknowledged the clitoris in any of the 24 and counting films. Imagine that. Our new film, Atomic Blonde, features a woman sexualized as the main character instead of the side character, and that is feminism.
Rotten Tomatoes. Who cares? Better representation of better sex equals better Twitter response, which is like basically an Oscar in our books.
If you ask me, you don't need any of this shit. All right, just throw in some hot boobs and the nerds will eat it right up. I don't know, I feel going to the brothel every episode feels pretty girl boss.
I've studied the clit for 20 years. I know clits back and forth, sideways, underneath, the hood. Can I cuss? Okay, fucking Netflix. After 3 seasons, they got Twitter cancellations, BuzzFeed think pieces. They finally passed. Now what?
Pencils down, please. Pencils down.
Congratulations! You've officially reached the bar, which is actually short for the bare minimum. Now you can try to surpass it by having women characters who pass the Bechdel test.
I should have my own show, but...
Personally, we've been on for 10 years. I think we're doing fine with the incest titty stuff. See you at Comic-Con.
Fuck the system. Get the clits.
Speaking of, our new prep course, the Bechdel test.
I think we sold it.
What are you, single? You want to go on a date? We can talk about this more.